And we're back.
Hey!
Here's the news. All the news that's new and improved by the U.S. Army, the sweetest smelling army in the world. That's from Good Morning
Ada kumbara.
Vietnam. Robin Williams.
Mash.
No, it's not MASH.
Oh.
Anyway, so TC, would you do a banquet, or like say we all got together again?
Would I go?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah. Like I'd like to do something, and I think it'd be cool, especially because I'm going around talking to everyone, to get people to do something. But I wouldn't know, like, should we do a teen challenge banquet where it's like a banquet, or it's like all of us get together and do something?
I think we should all take a trip.
Interesting. Where? Where would you have us go?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, good talk. Anyways, Bryce Redmond. What's becoming animal? Tell us about that, huh?
It's, let's see. I forgot the slogan. But,
Or what do you want to talk about, dude?
I don't really want to talk about that right now.
It's okay. Teen challenge. Did you ever have an all day?
I had 3 in a week.
Really?
It was a
You
week
had
I was throwing
3?
some crap.
Okay, 3 all days. Like, you were disciplined, and they said you're gonna serve us all day this week, and then the next week, and then the next.
But I liked it.
Come again?
I liked being outside and getting a tan.
Yeah. By
Pulling
yourself.
weeds from rocks.
And when you're on an all day, you're not allowed to talk to anyone.
No.
And
But
you're
did that
usually-
ever happen?
You're usually, doing some type of work that's like go
Cleaning
the
tile
tiles.
floor with
Yeah,
toothbrushes.
Right. So it takes 8 hours, and you don't like really do much. It's not like a practical, like we need this done. It's like I'm being punished. I'm gonna do something that's so insignificant for 8 hours.
I'd probably make people pray for 8 hours.
Yeah, but then it feels like a discipline. Like I'm being punished, so I gotta pray.
It's not really a punishment.
Yeah.
A punishment to clear your head and find out who you are as a person, that's not a punishment.
Maybe that's what they thought would happen during that 8 hours.
I think I had like 6 or 7. Maybe more than 3.
Really? 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And they're from write-ups. What happened?
One of the write-ups was, it's because Josh gave me an all day because my shoes were out of line.
Yeah, so we'd have to have.
I'm pretty sure he's the one who wrote me that.
We have to have a shoe line and a straight line, right?
Yep.
And a write-up is like a disciplinary mark.
Yeah.
It's like a.
I remember I gave out 7 of those things at one time.
So you were dorm captain, or what were you?
Started off as dorm captain, and then
And dorm captain, for anyone who doesn't know, is like a form of leadership amongst like your peers, where you're in charge of looking over your dorm and making sure everything's in.
yeah, I got 7 months, 7 or 8 months. I was in the what was it?
Oh, in the blue. They
In
call
the
it
blue.
red or blue. Or being a
In the blue.
junior staff.
Junior staff.
So there's staff, which is guys who have gone through the program and either graduated or not quite yet. And that just means they work as far as like monitoring people on their work duty.
I was junior, and then I think 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks before I graduated, I was lived in your guys' dorms.
Yeah, so we had staff dorms and student dorms.
Lived in your guys' dorms. And that's when things got like. That's when I started getting like sleepy. Like I'd sleep all day. Because you didn't have to go to everything all the time at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're mandatory. You go to certain events. Like you have class, you have chapel, you have study hall, prayer.
I know you had to go to chapel every day. But on weekends you didn't have to.
On staff, you're talking.
Like sometimes you just had the days off. You didn't have to do anything.
Yeah. And you like to sleep on those days off.
Yeah.
Or do you think sometimes like you revert back to old nature stuff? Like, does that have anything to do with drugs? Or that's just a new.
I didn't think so. I think I ate a lot more. Yeah, I don't really remember that part. I was so focused on graduating.
Yeah. Did you have a verse that you like, or like what's your favorite that maybe got you through something during Teen Challenge, or like maybe a favorite verse now or something? You're pointing to your face. Oh, you got some face tattoos.
Yeah.
You got a couple tattoos on you. They're hard to see, but
I got these ones. This one I think is what, Romans 8:28. Is that what
says
that one?
Revelation.
Okay. So what's this one say?
Romans 8:28.
And this one is Revelations
4:8.
4:8.
What's it say? Or the just.
So Romans 8:28 is, for all those who work according to God. It's, you know what I'm saying? Paraphrase. For all those who work according to God will pretty much like be blessed and good things will come unto you. Like.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. That's about God's love.
Yeah.
He loves all those who are called according to his purpose, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's okay.
The Revelations is the tattoo right here.
Which is, what's that thing called again?
This is called a seraphim.
Seraphim, who protects the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the back is,
which is the dwelling place of God, technically, or it was in the Old Testament. The Israelites would carry around the Ark, and there were these two angels on top that would protect it at all times.
Wait, what is Revelation 8:428 for?
It's tattooed literally on your face.
What does that one say?
I'm not sure.
Revelation.
We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
4:28.
8.
4:8.
How do you not know this on your face?
Forgot. So Revelation's got to do with this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the
it's
four
about
living
the
creatures,
angels,
having
okay.
each one of them 6 wings, are full of eyes round about and within. And they have no rest day and night. So that's why I got this. And the back is.
And it goes on to say they're surrounded the throne of God, and day and night they constantly say, "Holy, holy, holy."
Yeah.
It's the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Dude, I genuinely, when I'm thinking, like, say we'll be worshiping or praising or praying, and I think of that verse because I'm like, how cool is it to be in tune with something that's happening in heaven? Like, I can say that, and I can know that at heaven that's happening. Like, that's earth shattering for like that. I always think about that.
So this is one of the most powerful angels. They're the most. I feel like they're like the most intense, the most animalistic, which is where becoming animal actually came from. The one on the back is wow.
Will you turn so we can see it?
What's the most powerful angel's
Michael,
name?
maybe?
Michael. The one on my back of my neck is Michael.
He's protector of the Israelites.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know too much about the angels. I don't know.
So it's one of those things to where, so my whole neck, everything that's going to be done on my neck is going to be all the most powerful beings in the Bible. And
Where's Jesus?
Jesus is coming.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Praise God, dude.
He's coming. He's coming. That's and I think the other might go on there too.
Who's that? Satan?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he might go on one of the sides, but not because of what people think. Because
Good and evil.
not even that. Like, he was the most powerful. Like, he's a super powerful.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put your enemy on your, like, if you're a canvas, or maybe you would. I don't know.
You know, if you think about it, like,
Let's see, if you're going to war in Afghanistan, you're not putting Iraqis up there.
no, but what was he before that?
Yeah, he's like a worship leader or something, or they say he's
Before
the
he
most
was
beautiful
judged and-
angel.
Thrown away.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear you.
So that's one thing that I'm gonna try and depict it in a way.
He's rightfully judged, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes okay.
He might not go up there.
So you like tattoos? Why do you like tattoos? Or did you always want to be tatted?
No, not as much as I have now.
Because now you're really going at it.
Yeah.
You're going hard.
Now I'm going hard. Full
Hard
neck.
Yeah.
I'll probably get the cross here.
Nice.
Get all of it filled in. Like I'm talking. I'm gonna cover everything.
What do you think?
Full leg.
You think I could get a face one or something?
Yeah. I haven't thought about getting one of the eyebrows.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, up top?
Yep.
Like Post Malone, he's got always tired.
I think I might end up getting like this section here done, maybe up higher on my neck. I don't know.
Interesting.
Tat.
Okay, well, let's think about Teen Challenge here. What was up with the women in TC? Because you were in, you had a fiance at the time, but we haven't talked about it
You know,
yet,
I
but-
never look to the left.
which is a rule we have in chapel.
I never once looked to the left.
So the guys are on the right side, the women are on the left side.
I wanted to.
You never looked.
I never once looked.
Come on.
Not even in the beginning.
Cut the crap.
Never. I've never done it. I went there to change myself. I didn't go there to disobey people.
Yeah, part of the rule is we're not allowed to look at the women. They don't want any contact because they're having people pass notes and they meet outside somehow. It takes away from what we're all trying to do.
I had a girlfriend for 5 years. We were engaged, but I could not talk to her. Right? Talk on the phone, nothing.
Why?
For 6 months just because we weren't married.
Oh, okay.
Even though she was a good staple in my life and a Christian and a good person, still couldn't do it
Were
because
there
we weren't
any
married.
opportunities? Say you're in like the kitchen.
Oh, the first
and You
week.
saw the phone.
First week, bro, I remember making an outstanding outfield catch in baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
So we were all outside.
I sprained
playing
my
ball.
ankle,
I remember that.
went straight to the emergency room,
Was a great catch.
and I asked the doctor, the nurse, if I could use the telephone.
1-on-1, you and the nurse.
Yep. I said, hey, can I use the phone? She says, yeah. So I called Chrissy.
Dang, what'd she say?
She cried. She said, I'm
Because
so happy you're there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy too. Like, I can't wait to. And every day I'd go out and walk around the back 40 and pray that she brought in some CDs and a CD player.
because we didn't have phones, so we had to have CDs.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have radio on them.
Nope.
Because they didn't want us listening to anything, I guess. We couldn't have newspapers, magazines. Couldn't have
The best
anything.
thing I think about that program is your schedule. If you don't have a well-balanced schedule,
Yeah.
and one of those things fall, it just starts to crumble. Like, wake up, go to church every day.
Structure.
I mean, you can't go to church every day in the real world. I mean, I guess you could every morning, like your own little thing.
Yeah.
But wake up and read the Bible for the first hour and a half of the day. Do that at 7 o'clock in the morning. Go to work. Go to work. Have your lunch. Work. And then work out. And then study the Bible. Like, you can do that.
Yeah.
But there's so many outside competing demands in life that estrange you from what you want to do. Like, it's soccer games and TV shows and dinner and everything else. You got to do all that stuff. Everyday competing
watching
demands is what
soccer?
it's called. Huh?
You watch soccer?
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding. Hey,
That's what
we did play soccer in there, and that was fun.
it was sweet.
That was like my favorite times I look back on. When it'd
That
be
hour and a half
raining.
outside.
Oh, we'd go at it too. Like
Dude.
we're all trying to work out. Like you had to work out as hard as you could because you only had a set time. So when we would play a sport, we'd be like, "Yo, I need to get this done."
Yeah.
I didn't realize sometimes I think, wow, that's. I wish I had that.
The
now.
worst thing about Teen Challenge is not having air conditioning.
Yeah.
That was
Do you remember just sitting there with a fan like on your chest, just
horrible.
yeah. Yo, I have a question for you.
That and walking a mile after taking a hot shower.
Walking a mile after taking. Oh, to get
So
back to
cold.
the dorm and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
You were talking about your ex-girlfriend, your ex-fiance, and she was with you for 6 months while you were in there. When I went back and did a restoration, I had been like, I wouldn't say dating, but I was talking with someone, and I don't think I could have done it had I not had someone who was like I knew I would never see her really, but I knew she was there kind of if I needed her. You know, I think like God used that to help me get through. Whereas if I didn't have that, I probably like it's just another thing that kind of helped.
You know, I almost went back this winter.
Did you really?
I was close.
Yeah.
I was like, towards the end of fall, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything this winter. And I'm really not doing terrible right now. I'm just going to sit at home. So why not indulge for 4 months?
Dude, I recommend to anyone they should go back. It was such...
You can go there and not even do drugs.
Right.
You don't need to go there because you're a drug addict.
Yeah, you can get back.
You don't have
right
to do
with
any of
God
that
and
stuff. You can go there just because you want to get right with God again.
Yeah.
And be put back on a schedule. They're not going to tell you no. You
Right.
know? Yeah, I got a gambling addiction. Okay, go ahead and come on. I don't have any addiction. I've been fine. I've been clean for, 4 months. I just want to come back because I don't do anything in the wintertime. I don't work.
Why didn't you?
I don't know.
What
Just
about
being
summer?
away from everything.
Something about Summertime Teen Challenge was my favorite. I loved it, dude. Because finally you're around guys all the time. Like when you come from, dude,
That I couldn't
drug
do
use.
because I feel like I've got a life in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that came across kind of rude, but like, just my downtime and my troubled time is the winter. Like that's when everything sucks
Right.
because I'm not doing anything.
That's true. Dude, doing drugs is such an isolating thing that sometimes even just being around other people who are going through something similar can be helpful.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about summertime. It's like we're all kind of, we play games every time. When I went back as a wrestler, there were 12 people, and there was no one doing that.
Doing what?
We didn't play games. You wouldn't play bad. There was one guy I'd play ball with, and we played one-on-one, and we'd go hard, but no one else was there doing that.
I think when we were there for that year was different.
Yeah. Yeah, because COVID happened.
Afterwards, yeah. It was a year after I graduated.
I was in there for COVID, dude. I was in the mix, boy. It was not fun. So you don't think... Would you still go back?
Actually, the reason why I didn't go this time, for this winter, is because I was supposed to be in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
But vehicles broke down, and I couldn't make it.
You feel like God was trying to save you something by not going? Like, looking back now.
I think the enemy was keeping me from going.
Ooh. Really?
I don't think God was keeping me here. I think the enemy just kept me from going down there. For sure.
Dang.
Or maybe God was allowing me to work on things that still needed to be worked on, because if I went down, maybe things could have got worse. I don't know. But the timing of everything happening, something bigger than me was keeping me here.
Is there someone from TC you think about, like a buddy or someone that you're like, man, I would like to reconnect to this guy? Or like someone who was good friends with you or something? Or
I mean, I and Josh stay in contact quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I stay in contact with Josh, you, Alex.
We saw Hunter. That was cool.
Saw Hunter yesterday or the day before that.
Who would you like to see me talk to?
Josh.
Pushka. Really? Why?
Yeah. Because.
Just because he's a mutual friend. It'd be cool to hear his story.
Him and I was like oil and water.
Yeah. Didn't mix well, but it made you great friends, though.
Yeah. To this day. That's one thing. It's like an unspoken, loving annoyance.
Do you remember, so one time, I remember, so we spent a year together with holidays, everything. I remember being Thanksgiving, right? And families would come and we'd have this tons of food throughout the day. And I remember being around the table and this guy was like, oh, let's go say what we're thankful for. And normally I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But this moment, it clicked for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm really thankful for something. Like I was thankful for life and what God had done in my life. And it hit me all at once. It was like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually thankful. Which was such a contrast from what I had been the last years prior.
You can say you're thankful for a lot of things, but you actually feel it and understand and realize what you're thankful for and why. Like, do you actually
it's
get that?
different.
It's way different. It probably took me a good 6 months to really understand, like, okay. Yeah.
Was there something that clicked for you, like, wow, I am thankful? Or was there a moment where you're like, I'm doing better, and you saw it?
When God showed me a moment. And when the moment that God proved to me was obviously the golf ball story. I feel like Josh can elaborate on that more than me because he was right there too.
It's a Pro V1, right?
Pro V1. Yeah, and it lined up with classes, the Bible, and what was going on in my life. It was just a golf ball somebody gave me
Yeah.
out of a random pack that John had.
Yeah.
John, I think, had this random golf ball thing, and he gave me a golf ball.
But it was like a light bulb for you that like.
It was a light bulb. It was a
connected.
realization and understanding that I'm real. The next thing that happened that was real is when I started speaking in tongues for 45 minutes, and I couldn't stop. And I was waking up the dorm, and everybody was just like sitting there listening, and I was, it was insane. And I didn't understand. So that's when I was baptized by the Holy Spirit.
Do you still speak in tongues?
I don't know.
But in your life,
Yeah.
like, you driving and stuff, or like.
There's been times like where I can, that's one thing that's hard for me is because I feel like it's more of a pattern. It's more like you got used to this.
Yeah.
And I still don't necessarily understand that side of things. Like I think once you're baptized by the Holy Spirit, like you can just, but you got to keep it to yourself unless it's actually meant. Because they say in church what?
I was like, to edify the body, you're saying.
If you speak in tongues,
no one's there to interpret.
And no one's there to interpret it.
It has no like encouraging effect on the listener. Someone hears it, they don't know, they can't even agree with you.
Yeah.
But it'll edify your body. Dude, can I tell you this story? This is wild. This is speaking tongues for me, okay? I was home for some sort of vacation. I had been at Teen Challenge for a few years. And there was a shooting in my home city. Or Kenosha, Wisconsin, right?
Kenosha.
This police officer shot this guy 7 times as he was getting into his car. And this was right around George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. These were big issues in our country. So to have it happen 5 minutes from where I lived was wild. And right when I was home. And I was like, dude, I'm going there. Like, I'm checking this out. And I drive. This is nighttime. My parents are like, do not go there. There was a shooting. Like, what do you think this is? And I was like, no, dude, I'm going. So I go, like, as you get close, cars are just everywhere. You're like, oh, okay, something's going down. Like, this is an event. And I get up, park the car, I'm walking close, and you hear, like, there's this buzz in the air. And literally, you see people all walking towards this direction. You're like, I was like, well, okay, something's going down. You turn down the street where the shooting was. All you see, thousands of people. His house was, like, on this apartment, so it was, like, on a hill. Like, all you see is people all over this hill. And no joke, within 5 seconds of turning down the street, from behind me, all I see fly over my head is a Molotov cocktail. Hits the ground in front of me. This was out of a movie. It was crazy. Fire comes up from the ground.
I never heard this.
I was like, I'm in over my head. Like, this was wild. So I'm walking closer and closer. This was a white cops shoot black guy. So everywhere is just, there's black people everywhere. There very few white people there. But, these are my brothers. I'm like, I'm not going to, I'm there to support. I'm thinking, it's going to be some type of, Martin Luther King. We're going to come together as a community. And it was so far from that, I can't even describe. I'm there for maybe 5 minutes. And I see this kid. He comes up. He's got 2 bricks in his hand. Bricks. And he, looks up at this other guy, and the guy gives him the nod. He's like, go ahead. And the kid throws the bricks, hits a cop in the head, and he goes down like a sack of potatoes. I didn't tell this story for years because it felt fake to me. Until, I saw in the paper, this guy got arrested. They found out who threw the brick. But so now I'm there, right? People...
When was this?
This was a couple of years ago. It was a big deal, dude. There ended up being a riot in Kenosha. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? He shot and killed 3 people. This was national news. This was in my city, and I was there. But so what happens is, the brick's thrown, and now the crowd is getting wild. They're not messing around anymore. They completely surround the cop car and just start kicking it, hitting it. And before you know it, the cops drive away. And now there's thousands of angry, so mad. This is not there's not a bring the community together. This is people are they're coming after people. This is a reckoning. And I'm sitting there I'm one of the good guys. I'm here to help. Like, I didn't know what to do. And I found myself in this corner being surrounded by people that I thought, like, yo, they're coming for me. Like, I'm about to get stomped out. And I started praying in tongues. I closed my eyes, and I just prayed out loud in tongues. And I stayed there for probably 2 hours because I was scared to move, and I was scared to look. And I realized in that moment, I was like, oh, speaking in tongues, it's not like a doctrine thing. It's not like, what do I believe? Like, I need to survive. And, like, that was my one line to God. And no joke, I believe that he, like, used that to get me through that. The guy didn't die. So it wasn't a big of a deal. But I remember Donald Trump came down the next day to our city and, like, walked the streets. They'd burned all these. It was insane.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
What was your coolest story in Teen Challenge?
Ooh, okay. My coolest story. You know, I did.
Like things that somebody wouldn't never believe. Have you ever had that happen?
I have something that was like a big deal for me, and I was on a rally, and we went to Shiloh Tabernacle, and you hear.
I remember that.
Yeah, you hear these like things about Shiloh, like, oh, this is a powerful church, and people like would pray and get slain in the spirit, like all this stuff that I was like, this is kind of out there, you know. And I remember going and we're giving our testimony, and when we go to church, everyone's in a suit and tie or whatever. Like, we had to dress up nicely. And I remember I was up on stage speaking, and you would look over the crowd, and in the back there was this glass. And I remember seeing my reflection in the mirror, or like in the glass as I was giving my testimony. And I had realized for the first time that my life was different, and that I wasn't who I had used to be, and that God had really saved my life. And I looked in the mirror, I'm like cleaned up, and I cried the whole testimony. I couldn't even tell my testimony because I was literally crying the whole time. And that was a big deal for me. And I remember being prayed for and prayed for after, and people had spoke things over my life. And actually, one lady, she was like, I know that God has a lot to speak through you. And at the time, that felt so wild to hear because I couldn't even speak in general. But that was a big deal, dude.
Sorry, I'm trying to find these pictures that.
What was a cool thing for Teen Challenge for you? You don't have your mic in your hand, dude.
Where's he at? This guy right here. Oops. Good old Don Whitney.
Yo, son. I brought pictures. I left them in the car.
Who else was there? So I think the people was cool. There's the guy on the far right has passed away.
Who's that? Petroselli?
Yeah, Anthony. That's Sloth.
Yo, I can't wait to talk to him, by the way. Casey
Yeah.
Baker.
That dude fell out of a free fell 100 foot from. This guy right here free fell. He said about 100 to 150 feet after skydiving and hit the ground in the middle. You really can't see it that good. But anyways, I'm trying to find the one of you in here.
You know, I've been in rehabs, you know. I've been in maybe 2 or 3.
Yep.
And you had guys you lived with, and you bond with and become close friends. But nothing compared to what I have now, like with you guys. Why do you think that happens at Teen Challenge specifically? Like, do you think God has, like, intended for us to... Like, why do you think bonds are stronger there?
Because God's there. The bond would be just as strong if you became friends with somebody at church.
You think so?
Yeah, because you got this similar interests.
Yeah, but there's something about going through hard times with someone. Like, you see her in the military boot camp. Like, these guys went through stuff. Like, dude, you guys, everyone at Teen Challenge has seen me, like, in tears, crying. You know, they've seen me happy with good life
Humility.
events.
All day.
It is humbling. That might be it, dude. It's one of the most humbling experiences.
All day long, it's humble.
Yeah. It's wild.
You know what else is wild?
Yep.
show you. Where? These are all over the place.
Who's that, Cody?
No.
I gotta talk to
JT.
Judah, dude. That's one of them.
Jamie, JT, my kids.
Is there someone from Teen Challenge that you look to that was like, oh, he's a success story?
Right now?
Yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, you're gonna talk to him soon for sure.
Man.
Yeah, he's a realtor. He's got 2 kids, married. He's from Philadelphia.
Yeah. That's that kid right there. He's probably... Yeah, he's a huge part. Man.
Were there some fun things we did as a group? Like, say, after graduation, we'd go out. What was your best thing we did? We'd have, like, a fun day. Where, say, we'd go bowling.
Going to the lake.
Yeah.
In October.
We play football, or what did we do?
Frisbee. Swim. I think the coolest thing was the concert.
Oh, what did we go see?
Who was it?
Hillsong.
No.
Did I go with you for that?
It was the outdoor concert. What was the name of that? We set it all up.
Oh, King and Country.
King of Country, yeah.
Yeah, how dope was that? Oh yeah, so there's a Unity Fest in Muskegon every year.
Yes, that's what it is.
And we would help out, and for helping, they would give us free backstage passes.
It was I got a lot of.
We saw Matthew West there. That was dope.
Yeah, who else did we meet? We got to meet.
Hillsong was my favorite. We went and set up for him the backstage. That was wild.
When did you guys do that?
Yeah, that was me, Pat, Judah, Petroselli, Cody, Jamie.
When was that?
You were there. You might have been on your 3-day or something. But that was a cool event, dude. It's so cool to dude. This is cool when you go out. So first of all, and you realize for the first time, we can do fun things sober, and not only that is we can do fun things, and also live according how God wants us to live. And those concerts were a big example of that. For us, we needed those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were with like-minded people.
Right.
People that shared the same interests. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I know we were with like-minded people, but, dude, Bryce, we came from all different walks of life. People like that don't normally mesh well together. Other than with God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Dude, we were in a dorm with, Greg Jackson, who at one time was, he told me how he hated white people. And how he was,
I didn't know that.
the Nation of Islam in prison. But,
I wonder what he's up to.
He passed away.
Really?
Yeah, he got
How?
cancer.
Oh. Man, a lot of people pass away from that.
Yeah.
Jordan, Anthony, Greg.
Who do you think was the toughest one for you to saw pass away? And why? Why was it especially difficult? Did you know Jordan well?
Jordan and I didn't get along. We did at first, but for a long time. None of them was really difficult for me.
Really?
I don't know why.
When I was 4 months in the program, one of my best friends, his name was Jordan Nelson.
I remember him.
And he was 19 years old, and he passed away while I'm going through the program. And I think that was especially eye-opening. Because you're dang, this young kid.
Anthony passed away when we were in there.
I had graduated. You were probably a student still.
Yeah, he went home because he got sick. And they wouldn't let him back because he got sick.
That was Jordan Nelson. He got ringworm. Anthony Petroselli graduated.
Jordan Nelson. That's what it was. It was Jordan Nelson. He had ringworm. They wouldn't let him back in.
Yeah, people had gone home on a 2-week. That's what they did. They sent you home for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he ended up overdosing. He was brain dead in a coma or whatever.
That's probably the one that hit me the most, because he was there with us.
Yeah.
You know. I got a friend recently. I've known him for my entire life, but Noah. I just found out he's 90 days clean today or yesterday. I was looking at pictures and all that stuff. It was, yeah.
Yo, tell me what was your first thought in the morning? Say the lights come on, which, by the way, staff will come through 6 a.m. or 6:30, I don't remember. Let's flip the lights on. What do you got to do? Like, what's your morning like right away?
Get dressed. Make your bed. That's it.
Yeah. You just get
Stand
dressed,
there.
Because we got to be wait to be called down.
For some reason, everybody had to be the first one into the room to eat. I don't know why.
So guys would run down there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Then we had kitchen cleanup.
I was open,
serving
though.
dorm.
I didn't go in there with a negative attitude. I had a negative attitude. I got in an argument or a fight once in the kitchen. That was it.
If you had to give someone going in a piece of advice, what would you get? I know they're already in a hard time, but what do you think you would tell them?
Suffer. Make yourself suffer. Like, for real. I don't let everything go. Just be open. Be open to... Yeah, be open. Listen. You know.
Have you ever done a school rally?
What do you mean?
Were you going to a school? Did you ever do that?
Like once or twice.
What's that like? You're around kids, dude. They're
This
high
is
school.
more like a daycare facility.
Oh, the one you went to?
Yeah.
3M or something.
Down in Kalamazoo. Yeah.
Have you ever shared your testimony and had someone like impacted? Like, oh man, what you said really hit me.
Yeah, these guys right here. They actually spoke over me, and were told that I wasn't gonna be a stay-at-home pastor, but I was supposed to speak and travel and speak, and do all that stuff, and I haven't. These guys right here, somewhere down in.
Two Hispanic guys?
Yeah, the Hispanic dudes way down south.
I was on that rally with you.
I was trying to look at the pictures, and you're not in the pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe you were taking the picture.
Or no, I didn't have a phone.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
So what do you think about what they said? Because
I believed them because
over your life.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like, that was...
So they're saying, Bryce, we've never met you, but we believe God has this in store for you.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, you did want to be a pastor or something, because once you're in TC... And
I went to school for it, and I've got like 6 months or 6 credits left. I just haven't completed it.
After you graduated, you went to school to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And do you still believe that you were going to travel?
I do. I don't know when it's going to happen, but yeah, of course.
I mean, technically, you're speaking to a variety of people right now.
I am.
Like, this is part of it.
2018. These guys right here.
Wow, I remember that.
Gosh,
dude.
I look different.
You look-
I think you were taking the picture. You had to.
I went there with Pastor Sam. You guys all look so healthy. Look at old Ken in the middle. Remember Ken?
Yeah.
You know he passed away?
Really?
He was hit by a car in downtown Grand Rapids.
Really?
Yeah, crossing the street. Remember what he would say all the time? Would you let me finish? He'd be talking, dude.
Alex used to freak me out when he first got there.
I love Alex.
What's he doing now?
He's working there. He works at Teen Challenge.
Alex does? Seriously?
Yeah, he's doing great. I'm excited to talk to him. Yo, what'd you do for fun at TC? In your, you ever play Cappy Coo?
Man, what'd you say?
You ever play Cappy Coo?
Look at that handsome guy. That guy.
I'm gonna edit that out.
Cappy Coo.
Cappy Coo, dominoes.
Not really.
Because guys played a lot of dominoes. Remember Mark Collins would be like, get on the floor. That's what we'd say.
I literally
Played dominoes for push-ups.
I didn't really play basketball. I just worked out.
I can't tell. Just kidding.
Want some M&M?
Yeah, I'll take some. Just a handful. Just give me a couple. Thank you. What do you think? Is there anything you want people to know about you, Bryce? Where are we? Why don't you tell them about that?
Dog sitting.
Or your buddy who's a musician.
Yep, Keegan Jocko. Country artist.
And you go around with him sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Does he believe? Is he a believer?
He does. We usually pray before each show.
Does he wonder what happened to you? Or, like, did you know him before drugs? Did you know him before Teen Challenge?
I knew of him.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't know who he was. So before Teen Challenge, my stepdaughter came home.
You have daughter and
she
stepdaughter.
She said this weird guy came up to her school and would play his guitar and tell us stories. Like, she didn't like him. Like, why would some young guy come up to a middle school and play music? Like, she thought it was a bad thing. And I told her, I was like, keep an open mind. He does that because he's just starting out. I had no idea what his name was or nothing.
Yeah.
At all.
Listen.
And then after I graduated, 2.5 years ago, or 4 years ago I graduated, 3 years ago, right when COVID started, I met that guy.
Yeah.
And found out that he was the one
Who had been at your
who had been at the middle school for my stepdaughter. And he used to go there and play and give speeches and stuff like that. Which is crazy because we did not like each other at first.
Yeah.
And now we're like best friends. And
It's two alpha males.
it's like how? It's weird how stuff like that works.
Do you see God in that stuff that maybe someone
Yeah.
else doesn't even realize? Like, you say you pray with your buddy, but I mean, it's sometimes I've seen God use people who are like not believers in my life greatly, or like show me something through them, and like maybe they don't even realize how they were used, but it's been like impactful to me.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you look up to in the Christian world, like a pastor or music or someone that you like?
That I look up to?
Yeah. We've talked about a similar pastor, Pastor Carl Lentz.
Yeah.
Who
My uncle wanted to take me up there.
Yeah, you know, he's a guy I have these, I guess, goals or like people I'd love to have on. He's one of them. Hillsong pastor.
He doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, I know that. That doesn't change me wanting it. Because God used him. Listen to this.
My uncle knew him.
God used him and Justin Bieber to somehow pull me in. Like, I remember being, you know, using heroin every day, like, desperately trying to get out
That's
of
what
that
makes
life.
you a believer.
And I saw this article about Justin Bieber and his pastor. And I remember clicking it. And then I ended up, you know, you get on a rabbit hole. And I'm watching Carl Lentz preach and stuff. And for the first time, I was like, oh, that's a guy like me. Or, you know, like, he wasn't. Sometimes when you look at a believer, they seem so different from what you are. It's hard to, like, relate.
Yeah.
But for him, it was like, oh. Like, someone who, you know, he liked basketball. He seemed to be in touch with, like, his community. And that was such a big deal in my life at the time. Because Christians always seem so, like, square for some reason. You know, they get a bad rep for that. I don't think that's true. But I think it'd be impactful. Look, some guy looks at you like, yo, this guy's got tattoos. I know you want to look intimidating, but you're not intimidating.
Not one person thinks I'm intimidating.
You know what I'm saying? I think you'd be able to help a lot of people that just from, wow.
Just a soft person.
Do you feel like you're a soft person? You ever been in fights?
I don't like fighting.
Have you ever fought, though? You ever?
Yeah.
You win, lose, draw? No one wins, actually. No one really
No.
wins.
I had to learn I'm a defensive person. Like, that's... I mean, I can fight, but I haven't fought since I was like 20...
Prove it.
26.
What'd you fight over a girl or something?
My buddy was... I just moved back home from Arizona, and my cousin... We went to Whiskey Barrel. This was in 2007. Yeah.
It's Whiskey Barrel Bar.
A bar. And I saw this dude. I stood next to my cousin. I had a lot of friends around me. And I watched him clench his fist. I was like, oh, it's about to go down. And he hit my cousin, and I hit him. And then some guy came behind me, and I got on him. And then a buddy of mine from high school didn't know it was me on top of his friend. And came up behind me with a schooner. Like a 1.5 inch bottom glass.
What?
Smashed me upside the head 2 or 3 times and knocked me out cold.
Pile of blood, just a pool.
Yeah, concussion, puking, lost vision for a couple minutes.
Whoa, you puked because of concussion? That's like serious injury.
Yeah. Went straight to the
That
hospital.
explains a lot.
Not one of my friends, besides me and my cousin, stuck up for us.
Really?
They all stood there and watched. While me and my cousin up against 5 people.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fight. Even if I know we're about to get wrecked, I'm not gonna let you get beat up alone.
But no,
We'll get beat up together.
When I fight like a boxer. I don't sit there and scrap like a gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I don't do that.
Like anything goes? You're saying you're not like that. You're
I
more
don't do
technical.
that. I'm more technical and defensive.
Oh, it's a fight, son.
Oh, well.
I've never had to use but I would. I'll bite your arm, dude, right now.
I mean, if it's unfair, yeah. I won't. Before I fight you, I will flick you in the ear or the forehead. So you want to fight?
Yo, that's some psychological warfare right there.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
Hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Almost retired.
Really? But you're not
Probably
doing business
stalking,
anymore.
probably speaking.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What do you think
I'm
is
giving up platinum. I'm gonna let it dissolve.
platinum is your business?
Yep. And I'm starting a T-shirt, hat, like apparel, active apparel brand. That's becoming Animal.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm actually looking for a sponsor, and no, I'd rock your shirt. Becoming Animal.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet. Then I'll probably finish school and then go around and travel and talk. There's nothing easier than calling the church and asking to talk. But you're doing what God wants you to do, and eventually it'll grow into something. And I know that becoming Animal is going to be something that's successful because it's something that God had led me to.
Yeah.
It's all about becoming not an average, like a fierce, more top of the line you, like just a far out better you. Like that's.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out what it says here.
Yo,
it
what
says Shopify login. It is what? Okay.
While you're doing that, what kind of music do you like?
All sorts.
What's your number one? If you want to feel good, what
Country
song do you
rap.
put on? Country rap.
Yeah. Yep. Right now it is.
You're gonna see Morgan Wallen coming to Grand Rapids.
I know he is. Country rap, I think, is. I mean, you got some good country rap. You got,
Like Bubba Sparks. Remember that dude?
Yeah.
Remember
Bubba.
what was those called? Them country boys on the ride, big fat wheels on the side, on them dirty concrete.
Just the other
Happy
day,
Boys, that's who it was.
I had a dream the other day,
Really?
and I was wondering where Paul Wall was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Paul Wall.
Where is he?
I had a dream about Paul Wall. I was like, man, I wonder where Paul Wall's at.
Yo, Grills, remember
The
that?
next day, I woke up and came out with a new song.
Nah.
Yeah, it showed up on my Spotify.
Don't
All
you
Money in the
wonder
Bank.
how that stuff happens? Like, say you think about someone and then you get a call. Like, do you think that stuff happens? Like, I don't think it happens how we perceive it.
Yeah.
Like in a straight line. Like, I think it kind of happens and somehow, like, our brain allows us to really figure out what's going on with that. Hey, what's the hardest lesson you think you've learned in life? Show me that later, dude. I don't even know what you're looking at.
Coming to God and then denying Him.
Ooh.
No, hardest lesson I've had to learn, because that's part of it, is not learning who I am as a person. That's the biggest.
Who are you?
You go 35 years of being nothing but in a relationship, pretty much the entire time with people and women, whether it's a significant thing or a one-night stand, the biggest thing I've learned is you need to take time for yourself. Because even if you came to God and then denied him, you know, that's the most difficult thing.
And you kind of mentioned it before,
Testing
like
God.
the torment.
I'm going to test you, dude. I'm going to test you. And see if I can get through your worst. Like that's hard.
Dang, I'm not praying that one.
That is one thing that is like everybody's like, pray for patience. No, don't pray for patience. Make me patient, boy.
They say not, or like people say this because that means like you're ready for hard times.
Yeah.
Like if you want patience, you deal with someone who makes
He's
you
not going to
impatient.
give you patience.
Yeah.
He's going to make you go through things that
There's a really
or
cool
allow you to go through things. He doesn't make you do anything. He allows you to go through things. You know?
It's like the saying that like you pray for strength and God gives you hard times.
Exactly.
Like it's not.
That's why
like,
a lot
you
of
don't just
people are
get
like, look at all
strength.
these Christians. All they do is struggle.
It's like yeah.
Okay. I have no worries anymore.
You know what's wild? I think about the Book of Job a lot.
So
And it's just a guy who's gone through terrible things that God allowed him to go through. He didn't like make him to. But to me, that shows you like what God thinks about struggle. That he's not gonna spare someone from it, including his own son.
Yeah.
Dude, it shows you like where he values that. And also what I see from that is like anytime I think God's not doing what I want him to, it's like a giant misunderstanding on my part. Like I'm clearly the one who has like got wrong thoughts about who God is and what I should be doing and stuff like that. And like when he kind of corrects Job, like that kind of hits me in the gut, dude. He's like, yo, were you there when I laid out the corners of the gosh darn creation? Like, I don't think so.
Right now, I mean, I don't want to be in a relationship, but I do. At the same time, it's like, I'm not ready for it, but sometimes, dude, it gets lonely, like annoying. Like, you're just like, I just want to come home to somebody and not have to worry about anything and just kind of sit there and relax and watch movies. And because I go stir crazy. I get, like, restless leg syndrome a lot now, and that is one of the worst things I've ever dealt with. Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, if I'm never with anybody, I never get married, I think I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sex doesn't even interest me anymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
You're older than dirt, so I'm not surprised.
I'm 39 years old.
Just joking.
You're shorter than the mound I'm standing on.
Thank you. I'm actually sitting on a couple of textbooks right now just to try to get level with you. But dang, so part of you doesn't know if you'll ever get married.
Part of me feels like I'm never going to get there.
Have there been people you've been interested in? Like you've met a girl and you're like, well, I kind of am.
No, the last couple of years has been making friends with females.
You got to teach me. I got to figure
like,
it
it's
out.
just, that's what it is. There's no sexual things involved. There's no, like, I don't want to. I have no ambition or no drive to have sex with these women. It's impossible for me to do it.
I don't want to, but for a different reason, and maybe you can help me with this. Sometimes I see a girl, and she's like attractive and innocent and all these things. I'm like, wow, I think I would destroy your life.
I dated a girl for 4 months. Not one time. Yeah. Slept with her in bed, everything, almost every night for that 4 months, and not one time did we screw around. We kissed and hugged.
Did you destroy her life?
No. She's actually doing really good right now. It just never got to the point where it was like, I can do this.
Why do you think I'm afraid of destroying some girl's life?
Exactly the same reason why I would never destroy another family's, another woman's with kids. I won't do it. I cannot be in a relationship because I'm not ready. Yeah. It's kind of like saying, hey, well, if Chrissy ever came back, I wouldn't do it. Just because. I still feel like someday, I don't know why. I feel like someday down the road, when I'm 70 or 80 years old, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that's who I'm supposed to be with.
Wow. That's wild.
And I would, but it's just not now. I mean, even though she's married, like, it's one of those things.
Do you hope that she sees this?
No.
Or maybe to just understand you better. Sometimes I wish people understood me better, and this is a way that she can kind of see what's going on inside of you. Like that purity you talk about having a pure heart. Sometimes it's hard to relay that when people have seen bad in you.
She knows who I am. She knows the type of person I am, which is why I think she's so hurt.
Ooh.
Still.
Yeah.
I mean, who flicks somebody off after 3 years? Like, come on, man. Like, it's, and I feel so bad. Like, I feel so bad. It's one thing that I was never able to get a forgiveness from. So I kept saying, if I got to go through 5 years of being single and trying to find myself and do the hardest thing I've ever done by myself just to gain forgiveness, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm literally doing this because, first of all, it's impossible for me to get a date. The first year of me being single, I couldn't get a date to save my life with a dozen women.
Dude, I can relate. I'll relate on that.
I was going to crash a wedding on a first date, and the groom came down with COVID.
What do you mean you're going to crash a wedding?
A girl asked me to go on a date with her to a wedding. I've never been. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
So I went and bought clothes. We got a hotel room, and
That'd
the
be
wedding
fun.
was canceled.
Oh.
I've had 2 dates I was supposed to go on. One of them, the ex-husband couldn't watch the child that weekend, and we just never rescheduled another date. It was something that just never came up. 2 times, a grandfather was in hospice, and they passed away from 2 different women that I tried to go on a date with. They both passed away on these days. It was impossible for me to get a date. I couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? I give up. I give up. Maybe I was supposed to realize something and find something else, and that was to deepen my relationships with the opposite sex instead of just using them for sex.
Yeah.
Using them for my own purposes. Like, that's... And it was hard, bro.
Push me.
It was...
And then just pull.
So then it just became almost impossible. Like, there's times, bro, where I was hanging out with prostitutes, call girls, escorts, whatever you want, and wasn't doing anything but talking about God because they came to me crying.
Dang.
Like, for real. Like, there was times where...
Yeah, you're looking for connection.
Yeah, I think it's just a deeper connection. Every time I get into a situation, it turns out to be a situation about relationships. And this was during the time, 2 years ago, I met my 17-year-old daughter for the first time. And it was all about relationships and building relationships with people that... It's like, if you were a good-looking, funny, well-put-together, career-oriented female...
Oh, dang it.
The last thing on my mind is sex. Like, it has nothing to do with it anymore. I will sit here and be your best friend wanting to be put in the friend zone because that's what I want right now. Like, it's part of me was like, oh, man, I'll be 85 years old. Guess how many women I'm going to have then? They're all old, widows. Like, I just want to be helpful in somebody's life. I don't want to be the person that... Because after sex, it's like, right now I feel like I want nothing to do with you if I were to have sex with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's pointless. It makes no sense to me. Well,
just kidding.
There's, yeah.
Dang, so you want connection.
Connection. Yeah.
Yo, I gotta talk about this forgiveness thing real quick.
I
You know,
forgive
like-
for everything you've said.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I also forgive you from being from Wisconsin.
I'm actually from Michigan, but I was raised in Wisconsin, so you're welcome. You know, Christ forgives us, and God forgives us without us having to earn it. So I understand what you're saying about the penance.
Yeah.
But, like, when God forgives us, there's no way we can earn that forgiveness, which is what makes it such a good gift.
But are you understanding of that? Do you know why? God knows why he's forgiven you. But I feel like you need to take it to a whole nother level and understand why you're being forgiven. Like, can you truly be forgiven unless you know the feelings, the emotions, and the trouble that you would cause other people without putting yourself in their situation?
Can I be truly
Can you
forgiven
really
for those actions?
Can you really be forgiven for those actions unless you put yourself in that situation to understand where they're coming from and what they're doing?
Yeah, but say I'm a murderer and I kill someone. Like, you're saying I would never be able to be forgiven because I've never been killed. I just don't
That's a
think...
different one.
Yeah.
Never thought about that one. I know God forgives you.
Yeah.
You know?
But the part of me is like, which is, this brings me back to women too, because the Christian walk, like we do things that are like, I want a Christian woman because I want her to see the value in who I am. And I think if you take a woman who's not a believer, she almost doesn't understand what I'm striving towards and what I work towards and stuff like that. But part of what we get with a Christian woman is like, she forgives because she's been forgiven. So I wonder, like, you're trying to earn her forgiveness. And maybe she's say, I'm just talking, I don't know her or anything about it.
So Josh told me one time, Pushkas, because I called when Chrissy wasn't responding to emails or nothing back in 2019.
Yeah.
Or this is in 2020. Josh was like, think about it as I got a chain around my neck and her neck, and there's a linked chain between us, right?
2 chains.
She has forgiven herself, took the chain off around her neck, and forgiving, has got through this and got past this, but she's still holding on to mine. She's still holding on to all that forgiveness for me that I need to remove the chain around my neck. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's something that, unless it comes to murdering somebody, it's like, I don't think you can truly understand what people go through unless you go through it yourself.
So you're saying you're a cheater. You have adultery. You're saying you'll never be forgiven unless you get cheated on. Because then you'd experience it.
Yeah,
or
but
if you stole
so it's like,
someone,
say
you
you're
won't
in a
get-
relationship and you did this person wrong, but they stood by your side no matter what. No matter what you did, they were strong enough to stay by your side.
Yeah.
And try to help you through it and then fail. The last person that I talked to, I tried doing that for the last 6 months. And I just couldn't. She was such a negative person.
Dang.
And I couldn't handle it, bro. Like, it was making me negative. I started to believe some of the things that she was saying. And I screwed up at one point. But I was always there for her. I always told her that if anything were to ever happen between us, I'm always going to be there for you and your son. No matter what. I'm a better friend than I am a significant other. That's one thing that I've always known. And I was like, I see good in this person like Chrissy saw good in me. I'm going to work through this. I see her grow, but there's still something about her. 10 years from now, she's going to be a phenomenal woman. I know she is. But right now, it's just not for me. And I tried putting myself in that situation and the headache and the heartache and putting forth all this effort. That was difficult. But it got so bad to where I just couldn't take it anymore. I was doing it. Some people thought I was running a charity case. But that wasn't what I was doing.
Captain.
Yeah, like trying to
Save her.
Yeah. And
So you say now through what you went through, you see the value in what Chrissy did for you. Like, you're saying she stuck by you.
no matter what other people were saying, no matter what, she stuck by me through the worst time of my life.
What was the tipping point for her, you think? Because I know what you said
I smoked
it is.
pot. I ate a gummy bear at work.
Dang.
And this was when we
You
were
were working
separated.
for yourself or something?
Yeah, I was. I was running platinum at this time. So we separated because we got into a fight, an argument, right before I was going to come pick up my kids because my pastor saw us down at the park in Grand Ledge and asked me to speak on Sunday. I said, yeah, for sure. She didn't want me to do it. So it pissed me off.
Yeah.
So we got into an argument. I punched a wall, and she told me to move out. I was like, I'm not moving. My kids get here tomorrow. You can go to your parents, and then I'll take off. And over a course of like 6 months, we were back and forth, and I came home one day after eating gummies, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And then that's when we decided to go to therapy. So we started going to therapy.
You think it was a defense mechanism?
I don't know. She goes, you need to get out. I said, I'm sorry. It's marijuana. Like when I was in Teen Challenge, you went out and got high on smoked marijuana, and then we're late because you went to the casino. Like I bring that stuff up. But then we decided that we were going to stop going to therapy that I was paying for every week, and we decided to go to Mount Hope Leadership School together to both become pastors. And that's what we did.
But the thing that upset you that she didn't want you to share your testimony.
Exactly. That's what started the whole
And then you're
thing.
like, that's me. It's not like I'm sharing my
I did it
story.
anyways.
You're like, that's who I am.
Yeah. Anyways, I went up there anyways. Like Josh was there that week because we had Teen Challenge come.
Did she feel like it wasn't matching who you are now or something?
She just didn't want everybody to know.
Because she gets the worst of you.
She didn't want anybody to know our business in the situation. And then that's when I realized she was ashamed of me.
Ooh.
That's when one thing I've noticed is that she was ashamed of me, ashamed of being around me. Like after that relationship though, dude, I had to learn how to grocery shop. I had to learn how to do a lot of things.
Dang.
And that's the one thing that I've screwed up big time. And I will never 100% fully understand what I did. Because there's kids involved, like kids. And I've heard through the grapevine that, things are a lot different in her relationship now than what they were with me.
Better or worse?
I think they're calmer, better for reasons, but no biblical reasons. No faith reasons. Like when I graduated the program, it was all about, we were going to get married. We almost got married that summer. But we were looking at places to get married, but I had to spend like $5,000 on my kids to get there for the summer, like flights and having them have a place to stay. And so instead of getting married that summer,
because they live in Arizona,
I had to buy tickets for my kids. It was like $3,000 it cost us back then. That's why we didn't get married.
Do you ever feel shame looking back on some of the stuff you've done?
Yeah, all the time. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like you've forgiven yourself for that stuff?
No.
Do you want to?
Yeah, of course I want to forgive myself.
What do you think the hardest thing is to look back on that you, maybe not an event, but like a period or?
Not telling her just what's going on in her mind. Like or my child's mind. Like if a child gets hurt or you hurt somebody else, like what are they thinking? That's one thing I have a big problem with is seriously putting myself in the mindset of somebody else when something is going wrong, especially if I'm the cause of that. If I sit there and like we got a soccer game to go to and our son's supposed to be playing soccer on a Saturday and I get done working on a Friday, but I never come home for 3 or 4 days and I miss the soccer game. She goes home and hears my voice at night and I'm nowhere around. Like what is she thinking and what is she feeling at that moment? Like that's what hurts me more than me actually hurting her.
You're saying you feel like they're hurt by your voice, even.
Like it's that. Like what does that person think? Whatever I just did, the hurt, the lack of love that person is experiencing at that time. If I came home, I would be freaking out if I didn't hear anything from my fiance for 4 days. Not knowing what's going on, what he's doing, where he's at. Dude, that would kill me, like big time. And
yeah, that'd be hard.
That's one thing I feel bad about, is all those times. But that woman was so strong, bro. Like, dude.
So you kind of look up to her as a woman. Where I mean,
she's got her own issues.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's.
If you do find a wife, would you want someone like her?
No.
Really?
No.
Even though you value her and.
I do value her, but I don't want.
Her.
I don't want to have a new relationship because of. I don't want to look for somebody that's like her. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want that. That didn't work for a reason.
One time I thanked a girlfriend of mine. I said, I'm thankful for you because when I get a good girlfriend, I'll know what that is. Because I've had
that's taking a positive out of anything. Like you can always take a positive from a negative.
She didn't enjoy that comment very much.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, now I know what to look for. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's. I don't know.
Has there been a moment that you were proud of yourself for man, I've made it this far. I'm alive. Or one thing, dude, I was able to get my nephew some shoes for his birthday or something. And I know that doesn't seem much,
here,
but it was a big moment.
Their baby here. Like being able to prove myself and come watch the baby. Go over here and watch the dog, putting myself into situations where I might feel uncomfortable. Like it's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's these mile marks along the way that,
it takes forever.
Dude.
Yeah. I still get panic attacks when I go grocery shopping.
which part of the grocery shopping?
I don't know what I'm doing. My mom's like, oh, go get some. I need this, and this. It takes me 45 minutes to find the water she wants. And then I go get milk. And then I got to go back to the water because the high C is next to the water, and that's 4 things down on the list. I'm so backwards on that.
Do you know that I feel the same way about money for some reason? Like, there's this short circuit in my brain that won't allow me to be financially, like, it just doesn't compute. And maybe I think that's genuinely from privilege that I have. You know, like, that's a privileged thing to be able to say. That, like, that stuff doesn't come easy because it's been taken care of, basically, in my life. But that's one area, like you say, you get panic attack. I don't get a panic attack, but it's just something that I feel vulnerable about, for sure. How can I be better with money? Coming from a business.
Don't ask me that.
Yeah, but you've been a successful businessman, dude. And I know, like, maybe now.
I'm horrible with money.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll go make $1,500 today. I'm gonna spend everything tonight because I'll make another $3,000 at the end of the week. Like,
it's funny that that you say you're terrible with that amount. Like, with a large amount of money, I can't even do $30. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go make $1,500 real quick. Like, that doesn't even register in my head.
I've spent $17 since I've been here.
In this apartment?
On Friday.
Wow.
Thursday.
What did you spend it on?
A Monster, a Red Bull.
You get Monster and Red Bull?
Sometimes. I mean, Red Bulls you get less. So Monsters you get more. But it costs $1.50 less.
More drink or caffeine, or what do you go for?
I literally got $17 to my name.
Yeah.
But I've got quite a bit more at home that my sister holds on to.
Hey, when was the last time you went back to Team Challenge, the building?
When me and Chase went out there to work on that power washer.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. In Greg's shop and stuff, I saw you guys.
A couple years ago. 3 years ago.
What was that like?
No, the other time when I came and tried to pick you up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I had a canker sore.
You had chapped lips.
Yo, dude, a canker sore, I have to explain that it's not a cold sore to people, and it's like the thing if I got one, I'm not trying to go out in public. It's not herpes, but you have to, like, I'd have to know you to tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? I was insecure, dude, about a canker sore, and you should have seen it. It was absurd.
I gotta stretch.
All right. You want to be done?
I'm tired.
This is fun, right? You have one more closing thought, verse, something, anything, dude. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer.
Love is a choice.
Dang.
That's it.
I would say drop the mic.
And you get 15% off any Becoming Animal apparel with code I'm 30.
Yeah, but what if that code's not available?
It'll either be Lauren, I'm 30, or from Whisk. That's going to be the codes.
Nice.
15% off.
Sounds good. Hey, it was fun. I'm going to stop it. Love you, Bryce. My second guest here.
Love it.
See ya.